Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Natalia Lee and I'm the author of the young adult cozy contemporary fantasy novel Song of the Dryad. Today I am bringing you another tea time episode. This is episode number 11 and I'm going to be talking about work-life balance, or in my case, in many of our cases, that's going to be more of a writing life balance. I'm going to kind of open up about how this balance or lack of balance has been affecting my life and also what I plan to do in the new year to hopefully correct that. So go ahead and grab your tea or your coffee or your cocoa or whatever you are drinking. Hopefully it's warm, hopefully it's nice and cold and cozy outside, and let's chat. Alright, so I want to start with a little bit of a general overview about or regarding kind of the balance in my life currently between writing, work, general life, and also what that balance has been like over the past 2 years. So when I first started my YouTube channel, I was writing, but not a whole lot. So I'm going to kind of start off in October / November of 2016 when I started writing Song of the Dryad, because I had, written a few books up to that point, but when I started working on Song of the Dryad, things became very serious very fast because I switched from kind of an isolated writer into a writer who is part of this community and not only, watching videos, but also making videos and participating in the socialization aspect of AuthorTube. So when I very first started writing Song of the Dryad, I had just graduated from Colorado State University with my bachelor's degree in English. I was just starting my own business doing pet sitting. So when I first started writing that book in November 2016, my life was mostly I don't want to say on pause, but that's kind of how it felt, because I was transitioning from, living in a different city. I had moved home after university. I had met Greg, so we were kind of starting to decide on how we wanted to build a life together. So there was just so much transition in that time of my life that writing was kind of like the one stable thing that was really nice and healthy for me. It was something that I could focus on when everything else around me didn't really have, there was nothing to hold on to. So at that time in my life, end of 2016, early 2017, writing was stabilizing for me. Now moving into middle and late 2017, I had been pet sitting for about a year at that point, and my work was picking up. And it has been picking up for the past 2 years, which is to be expected when doing work like this, because there is never a lack of people who need help caring for their animals, because most households and most families have animals, and most of us like to sometimes go on vacations, and we need somebody to take care of those animals. So my work was really starting to pick up in 2017, and my writing was also pretty stable at that time, because late 2017 I finished Song of the Dryad. Maybe mid to late 2017 I finished the first draft of Song of the Dryad. I was moving into edits, so writing at that point was still a non-negotiable in my life. It has very much become a non-negotiable when it didn't used to be. So writing takes precedence over many other things in my life. And it pretty much continued, pet sitting, writing, general life, continued in this pattern up to now. We are in December of 2018, about to move into 2019, and I have found throughout the course of 2018 that my life has really lacked balance when it comes to my writing life, my making money, working life, and my personal life. I am the type of person that likes to push myself rather hard. And I think that a lot of this comes from feeling like, well, number one, it's the fact that I don't want to work for anybody else. I like working for myself. I like being an entrepreneur and making my own money. And because I want to do that and, be my own boss, have my own businesses, there's a lot of work that goes into that. Since I've moved home from college, I had literally 3 days of a job. I got a job at a veterinary hospital. I've worked at a couple of different veterinary hospitals. I've really always been in like a working field with animals, but I got a job at a veterinary hospital for 3 days. I don't know why my pinky popped up. And then I quit after 3 days at this job because it felt so stifling to me. And that's not the case for everybody. To some people, having a job with stability like that is very freeing, but for me, it's very claustrophobic. So the fact that I need to work for myself and make my own money means that I have to work incredibly hard just to take one step forward. Whether that's with my pet sitting business or whether that's with my YouTube or selling my books or whatever it is, there's a lot of hard work that has to go into making every step forward. And because of that, I push myself very, very hard. And in 2018, especially, in 2017, I struggled with a lot of anxiety and depression. I kind of started, and I can make a whole other video on that if you'd like, more of like a mental health type video and what I have experienced and my mental health, all that stuff. So let me know in the comments down below if you'd like to know more about that, because I'm very, very comfortable talking about it. It helps me to talk about it. But anyway, end of 2017, lots of anxiety and depression. Moving into 2018, I've really tackled the depression and I'm feeling so much better. But the anxiety is very much still part of my life. It's a very strong part of my life. I'm trying to diminish its hold on me, but it's there. And part of the anxiety that I feel has to do with how hard I push myself to achieve different milestones in my writing life, my YouTube life, and my personal life. So in general, in 2018, I have absolutely been overworking myself. Greg tells me all the time how I need to try to relax, I need to try to slow down, breathe, let myself just have time to do nothing and let my brain relax. And I understand what he's saying and I know that it's important, but up until this point, I have not listened to his advice. I continue to push myself very hard. I continue to overwork myself. And it's getting to a point now where I know that I need to take a step back. For example, during 2018, I never gave myself days off or time off. And it got to such a point that I was staying up very late at night, getting up early in the morning, and I would literally get out of bed, make myself a coffee, and sit down at the kitchen table and start working within 15 or 20 minutes of opening my eyes. Like, I didn't even take time to, reflect on the past day or what I wanted to achieve that day, or I didn't take time to just sip my coffee while journaling about my dreams. Like, I never took any time to decompress. I was always on go, go, go from 7 a.m. to, 10 p.m. when I stopped working. So never gave myself days off, never gave myself time off. I was always doing something, even to the point where my anxiety would keep me from sleeping in the mornings, because I would start waking up and my mind would instantly become full of everything I needed to achieve, everything I was falling behind on, everything I wanted to do but wasn't quite done with, and I couldn't fall back asleep. I had to get up and start doing those things. Or like naps. Greg loves to take naps. Like, he loves to work really hard during the day, come home and take a brief nap, and then be energized for the rest of the evening. And I can't do that, because if I lay down to take a nap, my mind is constantly bombarding me with all of the things that I could be doing that I'm not doing. So it's to the point where I can't sleep in, I can't take naps, I can't take time off, I can't take days off, and I overwork myself constantly. Again, another big part of this, that kind of ties into like wanting my own business, having to push myself for each of those little steps forward. Something that plays into this, which is also a little bit of the anxiety that I suffer from, is the idea of a never enough or never good enough mindset that I constantly have going. So I can post, one video every single week on YouTube, but that's not good enough. I need to try to post 2 times a week on YouTube or 3 times a week on YouTube. And then at the same time, I need to be writing every single day or editing every single day or, working on my social media presence every single day. And those are just the extracurriculars that I enjoy doing that really don't make me any money. So then on top of that, we have piled on all of my pet sitting, which is how I make the bulk of my income. That's the money that I live off of. So now I have to be doing pet sitting constantly, throughout July, August, September, and most of October. All I did was pet sitting. I had one chunk of time during, I think it was September, where it was about 21 days with no days off, no time off. It was a constant flow and influx of clients and dogs that I was walking, taking care of, otherwise just being there for, and Greg was helping me out. But there are levels, and I would just stack on all these additional things that I needed to do. And writing always had to be in there. YouTube always had to be in there. But then those things weren't making me money. And money is a big aspect to all of our lives to be able to live. So it was a constant, I am on 100% all the time. I never allow myself to drop below that, because in my mind, it's never enough. It's never good enough. I need more subscribers. I need more views. I need more Instagram followers. I need to sell more books. And then on top of that, I need to be doing all of the work in my personal life that gets me money so that I can continue to do these extracurricular things that I really enjoy. Now, I'm not going to pretend like this hasn't helped me in some way, because it absolutely has. The amount of time I spend working and all of the energy that I spend working on my writing, on my YouTube, stuff like that, has absolutely paid off. I am slowly closing in on 7,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is, on one hand, absolutely mind-blowing, and I can't believe I'm going to get there. But then on the other hand, kind of the darker side of everything is I want more, I want more, I want more. And that's part of not having balance, So I remember when I first started my YouTube channel, thinking that I would never, ever hit 1,000 subscribers. That was I could not even imagine what it would be like to have 1,000 people subscribe to my channel. But now I'm closing out on 7,000, and yet I'm looking forward to 10,000, and then 15,000, and then 25,000. So there is this weird feeling of, okay, I'm hitting these small milestones, but it's not enough. I have to work harder. I have to make more videos. I have to be more serious about this. I need to get better lighting equipment. I need to do all these things to make sure that I'm hitting these bigger goals, right? And then with my writing, I wrote and published a book. Look at this beauty back here, and I am so proud of it. I spent 2 years working on it, writing it, meticulously editing it, sending it to betas, sending it to a professional editor for the first time ever, working with the cover designer, messing up hundreds of times on Ingram Spark and learning how to not mess up in the future. I did so much, and I am so proud of myself for having that book out. And yet it came out October 20th. Now it's the very beginning of December. It hasn't even been out for 2 months, and I'm already pushing myself to write the next one. I have 50,000 words written of the sequel for Song of the Dryad that I wrote during NaNoWriMo. I'm pushing myself to start outlining an 8-book series. So I essentially give myself no downtime. I am constantly saying, what is next? What is next? What is next? Has it helped me in some way? Yes, because I am able to achieve things faster, but it has also hindered me in a way as well, which kind of manifests in my mental health and my physical health. So let's chat very briefly about that. So when it comes to my mental health, I would say that I have struggled with anxiety for most of my life. I just didn't know what it was called when I was younger. I knew that I would always get very, very nervous to be in social situations. I never really knew what was causing it. I didn't know why. But as I have gotten older and I've learned more, and my anxiety has kind of strengthened and shifted in some ways, I've learned what that is. I've learned my triggers, and that's something that is very prevalent for me. Almost every single day I have to battle against it in some way. And overworking myself has played a big part into that, because when I never give my mind a break, then it's like my mind never sleeps. My mind never gets to heal itself because I'm pushing myself so hard. So that's been, a big part of the mental side of things. Now, when it comes to the physical side of things, I've also been struggling in ways that I never have before. So I am only 24 years old. I turned 25 in January. And at this point in my life, I feel that my body is suffering in ways that it never has before. When I was in college, I was at the peak of my physical fitness and my physical health. I was working as a barn manager. I was taking care of many, many animals, cleaning horse stalls all the time, like hauling hay, taking aerobics classes, taking yoga classes, taking self-defense classes, walking all over my university campus. Like, I was in the best shape of my life. When I went on my very first date with Greg, we hiked 10 miles together during the course of one afternoon, and it was a breeze to me. All I needed was an apple and some water to get myself through that hike, and it was so simple. Like, I didn't even realize how many miles we had hiked because my body was in such good condition. Flash forward 2.5 years, and my body is not nearly as strong as it used to be. I don't drink enough water now. I have started drinking more caffeine than I've ever had in my life before. And that's mostly just because I like the flavor of it, but also because I've noticed that it does give me a certain sort of buzz, a certain sort of high in a way that I didn't know was a thing before. No wonder people like caffeine so much. It gets you going, right? So I'm not drinking enough water. I'm drinking too much caffeine, I think, for my body. I'm definitely getting enough sleep, which is huge. Thank goodness. I do get enough sleep. I aim for between 7 to 9 hours a night. So that is great for me because I do get to repair my body in that way. So that's good, but I'm not eating as well as I used to. I am a vegan, but if you guys watch my videos or follow me on Instagram, then you'll see that I definitely indulge in a lot of junky vegan foods, whether that is nachos or pizza or heavy fettuccine alfredos or, gosh, what else do I like to eat? Ice cream, milkshakes, chocolate. Like, I eat a lot of junky foods that don't power my body. They taste really good, but then they don't give me the type of fuel that my body needs to really prosper. So that's going on. And then I also have pain in my body that I've never ever had before. I'm having pretty bad lower back issues. I've been struggling with it for about 1.5 years now, probably. I broke my foot a year ago. Well, I guess I would say fractured it, and I didn't realize it. So that has led to not only, problems with my feet, but then also that caused problems in my back because I was wearing a boot and I was walking very uncomfortably. So at only 24 going on to 25, I have a lot of physical pain that I never have had before. And I don't take good care of my body. I am working so hard at all the other things that I never slow down to care for myself. I've talked to you in videos about how I love yoga. I've even made a yoga video before that's on my channel. I will link it in the cards up above if you want to check out that Yoga for Riders video. And yet I don't do yoga like I used to. I used to do yoga 3 to 5 times a week. It was what kept me going. It kept me sane. It kept me, flexible and healthy and strong. And now it's amazing if I do it once a month because I'm too busy writing, filming videos, pet sitting, and doing social media stuff that I don't allow myself to roll out my yoga mat and stretch for 20 minutes. I used to jog like crazy. I don't jog anymore. I don't even hike anymore. Greg and I used to hike multiple times a week, and I think we hiked maybe 2 or 3 times this whole past summer. So it's gotten to a point, and I don't want this to sound super negative. I want this to sound honest, because what I share with you is very much, I'm always honest in my videos, but I don't talk a lot about negative things, because I know that sometimes watching negative content can make you feel more negative, and I really want to help lift everybody up and help be a positive pillar in the community. But that does not mean that everything in my life is positive all the time. So this is not me complaining or, wanting to whine and cry about something. This is me wanting to be honest about the detrimental effects of overworking myself and not having a healthy life balance. So this takes me into moving into 2019, what am I going to change and how am I going to help myself decompress, relax, and take care of my body and my mind? So a big change that's happening in 2019 is that I'm going to be focusing more on freelance editing and less on pet sitting. Pet sitting has been amazing for the past 2.5 years. It has been my bread and butter, I guess you could say. It's how I live. It's how I make my living and my income. But there is a lot of anxiety associated with pet sitting for me. I very much struggle meeting new people, and with pet sitting I have to meet new clients constantly. All throughout the summer, every time a holiday rolls around, there's new people, an influx of customers and clients that want to work with me. So I'm always having to meet new people, and that's very, very hard on me. So that is a problem that causes me anxiety. Also, I'm bad at walking into situations that I don't have control over, which we don't have control over the majority of our lives, let's be honest there, and I know that logically. But I have some clients where I never know what's going to happen. Ooh, I'm sitting on my feet. I never know what's going to happen when I walk into their house. I never know what I'm walking into. I never know who's going to be there. I never know how I'm going to handle those situations. So on a day-to-day basis, pet sitting has been unhealthy for my mental health. It's been great for my wallet, and it's been great in other ways because I do set my own schedule, but I also have a tendency to overschedule myself. I never give myself those days off. I never give myself vacation or time off, which is funny because I work for people that take vacations, and there's some families that I work for that will take 5 vacations a year, like 5 week-long vacations a year, which is I can't even imagine taking 1 week-long vacation a year. Like the most vacation I've had recently is 1 night at, a hot springs resort with Greg, which is fantastic. But then after that night, it's like, oh my God, I have to get home. I have to write, I have to be on YouTube. I have to do all these things. So I don't allow myself breaks. And I don't allow myself time to decompress. So in 2019, that is shifting. I'm going to be doing more freelance editing and less pet sitting, especially if it was a bar graph, they'd be moving opposite directions. So if I'm here with pet sitting right now, and I'm here down where this T is with freelance editing, I want it to kind of go like this. So as I get more editing clients and I don't need as much money, pet sitting is going to drop off. So I'm very, very, very excited for that because I do think it'll really help my anxiety. Because I won't be meeting these people face to face. I am very much an email correspondence type of person. I don't do Skype, I don't do anything like that, so that'll help me. But I also know that if I'm going to be working on the computer more and I'm going to be home more during the day, that I'm going to have to work really hard to take care of myself, both my mind and my body. So moving into the new year, something I want to do is take 2 days off every single week. So this past weekend, I took Saturday and Sunday off. It was crazy. I had received a couple of emails on Saturday morning about editing stuff through Enchanted Ink Publishing. And it was so hard not to respond to those emails because I'm used to getting an email, pulling out my phone, and trying to respond right away. Or I would get an email, I would read it right away, and then I would stress out for 5 days until I would finally email back. This weekend, I didn't do that. I was aware that I had emails, but I told myself, I'm not going to read those emails until Monday. And when Monday rolls around, I will give them the time they deserve, and I will respond to them right away, because that's something I've become very bad at, is responding to emails in a timely manner, because my mind is so busy doing other things that I will read an email, internalize what it said, and then forget about it. And then sometimes it can take me upwards of 2 weeks to respond to somebody, which isn't a great business practice ever. So moving into 2019, I'm always going to take 2 days off. Saturday and Sunday, or Sunday and Monday, whatever I need to do that week to, give myself some breathing room, which is what I really need. The other thing I want to do is schedule my time better, because I find that sometimes when I finally have free time, this week, for example, pet sitting is extremely slow. Last week, I didn't even have time to breathe with all the pet care I was doing, but this week, it's slow. It's nearly silent. So sometimes I find myself with these free days and I don't schedule my time well, because I'm so used to being go, 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 go all the time that when I have a free day, I usually flounder it. Like, I will just listen to music, or I will watch too much YouTube, because I don't know how to schedule my time wisely. So I want to start scheduling my days in a better way. So if that means that I wake up at 7 and I don't open my laptop until 9 o'clock. Greg goes to work at 9 o'clock, so that would be a very good time for me to sit down and focus and start working. Because if I open my laptop at 7 and then, he wakes up, he comes into the kitchen, I'm distracted, I'm talking to him, he's getting ready for work, that's not conducive of a healthy work environment, right? So if that means, okay, I wake up at 7, I start working at 9, I work until 12, where I take an hour break. Maybe I get up, I go walk outside, maybe I do some yoga or exercise if I haven't yet, and then maybe I work from 2 to 5 or 2 to 6. Whatever that is, I really need those hours in my day to have balance. Because the other thing is that, I wake up and I work, and then I don't stop working until 10 p.m. And then I do it all over again the next day. So I need to be comfortable with closing my laptop and turning off my phone and not feeling like I have to be plugged into social media all the time. I literally have to set rules for myself now that control when I can and cannot have my phone. My phone has this little weekly screen time thing that it tells me every week. And I was getting up to an average of 4.5 to 5 hours of screen time on my phone a day, which means every single time I was getting anxious and overworked, I would go on Instagram or I would go on YouTube, even though I had already seen everything. So it became a coping mechanism that was just causing me more stress. So that's something that I also want to do away with. I am going to have my designated times that I can be on my phone and check in with people. And then I want to turn everything off at the end of the night. If that means turning off my ringer, plugging my phone in, and leaving it be until the next day, then that's what I'm going to do, because that is going to help me relax, take a breath, decompress, connect with my body and my mind. Some things that I really want to pursue in the new year are diving into a deeper spiritual practice with not only my yoga, but with tarot, with candle work, with my crystals, with my intuition, doing more stuff with that. Because at this point, I push myself so hard that I don't have that time in my day to read my tarot or to study crystal magic. I don't give myself that free time, because anytime I have free time, I say, all right, you could be filming a video, you could be writing your book, you could be posting on social media, you could be doing a billion other things, that don't consist of relaxation and hobbies and just letting it go. So I am looking forward to a more healthy balance in 2019. I'm somebody that does really well with the change from one year to the next. From 2017 to 2018, I wanted to get a handle on my depression, and I absolutely did. I remember December 30th and 31st of 2017 were some of the worst days that I had that year. And then moving into 2018, I started a regimen of taking vitamins, taking supplements, and working to combat my depression, and it absolutely made a difference. And now this year, 2018 to 2019, I'm going to be working on balancing out work and play, essentially, and taking better care of my body and taking better care of my mind, because that's incredibly important, especially to those of us that are creators and creatives. I do think that everybody is creative, but I do think there's a difference between being creative just generally or freely, and then being creative by choice or by, what's the word, like, living by it. Like if I want to be an author full time, I have to live by my creative side. I have to sell that creative side in a way, exploit my creative side. And that makes it even more difficult to remain free and creative in that way. So this has been a super long video, as all of my videos are. That's just the way I am. I would like to start a conversation in the comments if you're interested. I would like to know more about your work-life balance or your work-play balance or your writing versus life balance, because I do think it's been coming up more often in videos on AuthorTube, just talking about how like the pressures affect us. And that could be its own video, like the pressures of AuthorTube or the pressures of writing, because I definitely feel those pressures, just like most of us do. So that could be a whole other topic, but this is just a way for me to tell you, here's the problem with my balance right now, and here's what I'm going to try to do in the future to correct that balance. I want to level out the scales so that I'm not only a creator, like a happier creator, but a healthier creator as well, because my health has taken the back seat all year, and it's really time to change that. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. Again, if you want to share your story, please do so down in the comments or on Instagram. You can always follow me there at Natalia A. Lee. I am going to, what am I going to go do? Maybe take the cats outside. Tifa loves to go on a walk. I need to walk the trash down to the dumpster anyway, so that would be a good way to get outside, get some fresh air, get a little walk in, and that'll make Tifa happy as well. So I think I'm going to go do that. Thank you guys so much for watching this tea time episode today, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everybody.